the presentation that we're providing is really intended to be helpful information for you, and it reflects the expert advice between me and Alan and Fran, but it is not construed to be legal or regulatory advice because depending on your specific product, some of the information could be different. So we just wanted to make sure to state that ahead of time. For our metered dose inhaler example, and this is, again, now in the guidance, they really talk about, there's some needle-based injection examples in it. We wanted to give you a case study example where it's not needle-based. So 11608 would not apply to this, right? So, but how do you go about figuring out what applies? Well, here we go. We need the accurate dose delivered. And the design outputs are going to be the drug content that's emitted, your spray characteristics, the delivery mechanism, and are they user dependent? Well, first one's not, second one's not, and the third one's not. So yes, they're all EDDOs, okay? When I want to prepare to give myself a dose with my meter dose inhaler, I've got to shake it to make sure everything's homogeneous inside. I've got to remove the mouthpiece cover and prime it before I'm going to deliver my dose. So what are my drug delivery outputs associated with that? I'm going to have my instructions for use is going to give me some guidance on the shaking and how long to shake it for. I've got to do my cap removal. I've got to activate the spray mechanism and the delivery mechanism itself of the preparation. So my IFU is always user dependent. But when I get to my cap removal, my activation, and my delivery mechanism, those are dependent on the device design. And so it becomes really easy to start thinking about your EDDOs, right? So if I have a yes under user dependent, then no, my IFU is not an EDDO. However, each of the other elements that are marked no for user dependent, but these are system level outputs, these are now going to be considered essential drug delivery outputs. The target site, well, I need to deliver it to the lungs, and I need to be able to insert the device in my mouth. So to be able to do that, the drug delivery outputs are going to be dependent on the spray characteristics and the instructions for use. So no, the spray characteristics are not user dependent. They're going to be based on the design of the orifice and the spray mechanism of the meter dose inhaler. However, the IFU is user dependent. So magic, we know that if it's not user dependent and it's a drug delivery design output, then that's what we're talking about with the EDDO. The IFU is not an EDDO. What about the initiation step? I need to actuate my dose, right? I'm going to depress my canister. And when I'm depressing my canister, the force that's applied to actually actuate that dose delivery is my drug delivery output. It is not user dependent. And yes, it is an EDDO. Then when I'm progressing through my dose, the meter dose inhaler expels a dose of the drug and I inhale at the same time. So the dose expel rate and the spray characteristics would be two different drug delivery design outputs, neither of which is going to be user dependent, and therefore they are EDDOs. And then finally, for completion, I've got to remove the device and hold my breath. I've got to repeat the process one time, and I need to have a feedback mechanism of my dose completion. So my IFU is driving those first two drug delivery tasks, but the dose counter on my combination product is actually the thing that I'm using to help me understand, oh wait, did I complete my dose? So the user dependence is there for both of the IFU driven steps, but the task of the dose counter working is triggered by the device design. Therefore, the only EDDO in this set is my dose counter.